Hi Club Scrap card makers, Tricia Morris here again at Club Scrap with a really exciting new format for our monthly card kit club. This is the Expeditions collection and it is beautiful, and I love that it's got a lot more masculine cards in this set. I've got my instructions ready here, my entire kit, the 12-inch guillotine trimmer that I love and adore, and of course my accordion pocket file. This is what helps me stay organized in a small area. If you don't have the accordion pocket file just yet, reach out so we can help you make that happen. But in the meantime, just keep some space in order to form 3 piles to keep us organized as we trim and prepare all of our papers. So in the kit, of course, we always have the set of 12 envelopes to make sure your cards have a home before they go in the mail. This beautiful pack of hemisphere stickers. We've got 4 different kinds of ribbon included here, 4 really cool silver world charms with 2 loops, one on each end, and that's why I included the jute so we could attach them to our pages our cards in a cool way. And then we have 4 mini manila tags, and then of course a nice bundle of papers that need to be trimmed and prepared. Now it's my custom with the page kits that we do at Club Scrap to put the paper in the order in which we'll be trimming and prepping it, and let's do the same thing for this new card format that we're going to do here. So let's start out by grabbing our green plain from the stack and a blue plain. I'm just going to set these aside and stack them in order, and then we'll go back and flip that pile over a little bit later. Then we need a craft plain and a white plain. And then we'll take the 2 white prints, and I'll put these face down in the pile. A blue plain and a green plain. Finally, a black plain. And then from our cut aparts, we're going to take first this sheet with the suitcases on it, and then the other one with the icons down here at the bottom. So I put that face down on my pile, and now if I flip it back over so that the green's on top, everything's in the correct order for trimming and prepping. By doing that, we avoid mistakes and trimming the wrong thing or trimming more than one sheet of something. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to turn to page 2 of the instructions and wait until the end to trim those cut aparts. Now don't let this scare you. I'll just take you through it step by step, and you'll notice that every single piece that we're going to cut has a letter on it. If it doesn't have a letter, or if it has an X, it means you can put it in a scrap pile or the D pocket. If you're using the accordion pocket file, go ahead and put it in the D pocket, and D can stand for optional decorating material. Okay, so let's take this green plain sheet, and I want to point out one other important feature on these instructions. You see the arrow pointing left to right? That means that the grain of the paper needs to dip in that direction. So if I hold the paper by an edge and steady it, when I hold it on this edge, it really wants to dip that way. And that's how you want to put this paper into the trimmer, because that's how we'll need to be scoring it later. It just sets us up for success. Okay, so we're going to first find a really tough number here. Let's get to 10 inches. Then rotate and cut this at 11 and 7. Then rotate this so it's horizontal and cut at 5. Now, these 2 pieces will be scored. So what I'm going to do is set these aside, and then I'll pick up the very next piece. This needs to be trimmed. This is the 4x10. We're going to trim that horizontally at 8. This needs to be scored. I'm going to set it aside. Now I have one narrow piece from that cut. We're going to cut it horizontally now at 3. And file this bad boy in pocket C. We're going to put a lot of pieces that size into that pocket. And this, my friends, is a scrap, sorry to say. We also have another, like a 1x10 inch piece. You can go ahead and put that in pocket D for consideration. If you want to incorporate it into your cards, that's fine. Now we're going to make a whole bunch of 2x3s. So it's pretty easy. We're going to put this in the trimmer horizontally and cut at 9, 6, and 3. 9, 6, 3. All of these pieces go in pocket C, and as I mentioned, we're going to be making a lot of those. Now, I have nothing left here to file, so I'll grab the blue plain, and This is, oh, I accidentally grabbed 2 sheets. This gets trimmed the same exact way, filed the same exact way as the previous. So if you consider yourself to be a advanced card maker in this style, you can go ahead and cut both pieces at the exact same time. That's fine. But just because I think we have a lot of new people joining us, I want to just take it easy. All right, so we're going to cut again at 10, rotate, cut at 11, and 7. Rotate, cut at 5. These 2 pieces need to be scored. Set them aside. This one, cut horizontally at 8. Scored piece gets set aside. Trim this one horizontally at 3. File that in pocket C with all its friends. This is a scrap. The 1x10 we'll put in pocket D so we can use it for decorating options. And we'll cut this last piece horizontally at 9, 6, and 3. These guys all go in pocket C, joining their big pile of accumulating friends. And we'll move on to the craft and white plane. Again, I'll do these one at a time with you just so that you have a chance to keep up, especially if you're newer. And of course, use the pause button liberally if you need to. Okay, so while I was talking, I determined that the grain or the paper bends most easily when I'm holding it like this. From left to right, and that's how I want it in my trimmer. So if it bends easily going this way, rotate it so it bends easily going left to right. And we'll cut this at 11.5. This is a different pattern now. 11.5 and 9. Rotate the 9x12 and trim at 11.75. That's going to create a tiny scrap. And 6.25. This piece gets scored, set it aside. Pick up the next piece you just created. We'll cut this one horizontally at 8.5 and 4.25. These 2 panels get placed in pocket A. And we have created just a few scraps here. We'll pick those up. These little guys, I'm just going to set them aside. Those aren't going to be used. All right, this next strip, 2.5x12 right now, we're going to trim it horizontally at 11.25, 7.5, and 3.75. Just made 3 panels and they all go in pocket A. Once again, I got 2 other additional scraps. We'll set those in the garbage pile. Grab the white. This is a repeat now. So you're getting the idea that, you know, even though it might seem a little bit overwhelming when you start, the repetition will help you really master the cuts that need to be made, the filing that will happen. Okay, so we're going to cut this white. Make sure it dips easily left to right when you put it in the trimmer. We'll cut at 11.5 and 9. Rotate, cut at 11.75. It's going to make that little scrap. 6.25. Set this piece aside to be scored. Pick up the next rectangle, cut horizontally at 8.5 and 4.25. And these 2 panels go in pocket A. Then you've got your scraps you can set aside. There are 2 of them, pretty small pieces. Pick up this next one, cut horizontally at 11.25. 7.5, 3.75. These 3 pieces go in pocket A. And once more, we have some little pieces that we can set aside as scrap. Moving along, we have the white prints. These both get trimmed the same way, but again, we'll just do them one at a time so you get a chance to, review if you need to. So we're dipping easily left to right. That's indicated in the diagram. And I'll cut at 11 and 7. Rotate this horizontally and cut at 10 and 5. Set aside these 2 pieces to be scored. This guy, trim horizontally at 6 and 3. Both of these go with some more friends in pocket C. There will be a ton of those. There is a little scrap that was created at that point. This next wider piece, it's 4x12 right now. Let's cut that horizontally at 11.5 and 5.75. These 2 pieces go in pocket B. And if you want, you can put this long strip in D just in case you want to use it. Let's repeat. Check your dip. Make sure it goes left to right. Yeah, this is the dippiest. Okay, we're at 11. And 7. Rotate. Cut at 10. And 5. Set aside these two panels to be scored. The narrow piece, cut horizontally at 6 and 3. You made 2 rectangles, joining their friends in pocket C. Small scrap, put that in the ditch pile. The next 4x12 we're going to cut horizontally at 11.5 and 5 3/4. Both of these, pocket B. Hope you're keeping up and following along with all this. Pretty exciting for me. So if I'm rushing, I apologize. We have I just found some scraps from earlier in this, like this 1x12. I'll keep it in pocket D again. We're getting really close. And again, if you are trimming both at the same time, you're going to save yourself a lot of time, which I hope to encourage you to just kind of work up to that. But I will continue on just going one at a time. Okay, the blue plane, we wanted to dip this time easily from top to bottom. So just double check that that's the case. And our first cut will be at 6 1/4. Rotate and cut at 9. Set this large piece aside to be scored, and we have this narrow rectangle. We're going to trim that horizontally at 6, 4, and 2. 6, 4, 2. Guess what we're going to do with these guys? They're going to join their huge ever-growing pile of friends in pocket C, and you're thinking, what are you going to do with all those? This gets scrapped. Now we have another long piece. This is 5 3/4 by 12. Let's cut it horizontally at 10 and 8, and rotate this one so it's vertical, and cut it at 4. All right, now this piece, set it aside to be scored. Then you have this strip, cut it horizontally at 4. Both of these rectangles will go in pocket A. Almost every piece getting used. It's so great. These 2 narrow strips go in pocket B. Repeat with the green. Check to make sure your paper dips most easily from top to bottom. Sometimes you just have to double check a few times. I'll walk you through it again. So cut at 6 1/4. Rotate and cut at 9. Set aside to be scored. Pick up the next rectangle. Cut at 6 and 4 and 2. Guess what? More rectangles in pocket C. We have a scrap, and now this next piece. Remember, our first trim is going to be at 10, and then 8. Rotation and cut at 4. Set aside to be scored. Pick up the next piece. We're going to cut it in half at 4. File this, pocket A. And you have 2 more rectangles for pocket B. And we are at the last sheet for prepping. This is the black plane, and we want it to dip easily. Oh, this is such a gorgeous paper. I just have to say it. Oh, you're going to love it. You're just going to love it. All right, so horizontally, it needs to like dip left to right. And we are going to cut at 11 3/4, so that's going to create a small piece. 9 3/4. Now rotate, and we're going to cut at all the even numbers. All right, so that's 10, 8, 6, 4, and 2. All right, we're going to grab 4 of these, and we're going to put these in a pile to be scored. Then let's take the next 2. They should also be the same size. We're going to trim these at the same time. We're going to cut them at 9, 6, and 3. So just make sure they're stacked neatly. 9, 6, and 3. Okay, so now we have a big pile of, guess what? 2 by 3 inch pieces to go in pocket C. And we have 2 little scraps. Now we have this remaining piece that's 2 by 12. Let's cut it at 9, 6, and 3. And you're like, oh my gosh, really, Tricia? More? 9, 6, and 3. These all go in pocket. You can fill in the blank now. C. And then we have this long scrap, your choice if you want to put it in the D for potential decorating stuff. And at last, we have reached our trimming for the cut aparts. So here we go. We've got a little sheet here that has guide marks, but I'll try to give you measurements as we trim these as well. These really have been carefully designed to fit onto the cards at these measurements, so this really is going to work well for us. So let's place it in the trimmer so that Wonder, Wander, Repeat is on the right edge, and our first cut will be at around 11 1/4. Fine-tune that if you need to. And then just leave that paper lay where it lands, and then we'll slide to 10 1/2. Next, 9, and then 7 1/4. And finally, last cut in this direction is 3 3/4. Then we'll rotate 10 1/2, 9, 7 1/2, 6, 4 1/2, 3, 1 1/2. Okay, gather up all those little 1 1/2 inch strips that we just created in that one session and put it in pocket A. Let's pick up the next piece, and we'll place it in the trimmer with this tiny scrap on the right. That's important because that's the easiest way for us to get that end off. And that's at 11 3/4. And then 9, 6 3/4-ish, 4 1/2, and 2 1/4. Now, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of the same size. Those go in pocket A, and there's this last pair. We have to trim that horizontally at 1 3/4. Heads up, these 2 pieces end up nesting with all those other little rectangles we put in pocket C. So file that in C. Same for these next strips. We've got a little scrap to take off the end. That's going to be at around 11 inches. And then 8 1/4. 5 1/2, 2 3/4. All these rectangles, put them in C. Oh my goodness. You know, these 2 little guys, those are scraps. All of these rectangles we're going to cut horizontally. It's going to be 9, 6, and 3. These are innies. And these will go in pocket B, the innies for all the pocket B cards. Okay, now we have 2 remaining narrow strips. We're going to take off the end by trimming at about 11, and then 5 1/2. Just follow those guide marks. These go in pocket B. These are the outies for card set B. Same for the other one, 11 and 5 1/2. Pocket B. And 1 more sheet. Trimming is almost done. Not too bad, hopefully. We'll place this into the trimmer with those narrow sentiments on the right, including there is much to celebrate. Following those guide marks, we'll start at 11 and just go down the line. Most of these rectangles are going to be used in card set C because that's where the never-ending card is going to be. That was at 8 1/4, 5 1/2, and then 2 3/4. Rotate, and this first cut's at 10 1/2, and then it's basically every 1 1/2 inches down from there, or follow those registration marks. The entire stack goes in pocket C, as will most of this sheet, and this these last 2 icons, put those in B, and repeat that for the remaining, for 3 more of these strips. Okay, so all of these strips, every single piece on the strip goes in pocket C, except for the bottom one. This one will go in B, and then the other 2 are like unused bonus pieces. So you can go ahead and do all that trimming. So again, as a reminder, these 2 more narrow pieces, don't put those in with pocket C or you'll just get confused and you're going to say, that doesn't fit. Why? Now, place this last piece into the trimmer with the narrow little box on the right. That's essentially a scrap. But you want to make sure you have something to hang on to create these smaller pieces. These have been designed to fit perfectly onto the tiny manila tags I've included in your kit. So all of these little sentiments go in pocket A. And then these are, they can go wherever you want them to go. I'm going to trash that one, put this in the D pocket, and we are ready for some scoring. So I'm going to swap all this out and get my score pal. Now I've been piling everything that needs to be scored on a stack, and I ended with the black plain piece that I have these strips that need to be scored. So I'm going to work my way through the instructions backwards and follow the scoring portion of those instructions. So let's take the black plain strip. It's 2 by 9 3/4, and we'll score that horizontally at 5 1/2. And if you want, and if you feel confident in your scoring, you can score them 2 at a time, again at 5 1/2. Once you're done with that, put these all in pocket A. Now I'll move backwards in my instructions to the blue plane and the green plane. I've got this little 4 by 8. We need to score this horizontally at 5 1/4. That goes in pocket A. Then we have this larger, it's 9 inches wide. We score horizontally at 4 1/2. A nice simple fold in half card. Put that in B. Repeat with the blue. So now we're going to score this horizontally, this little 4 by 8 at 5 1/4. That goes in A. And this larger one horizontally at 4 1/2. Goes in B. Next we have 4 of the same kind of a panel, and these need to be scored horizontally, and thankfully the grain is correctly oriented, so it should make for easy folding, and we'll score at 1 3/4 and 5 1/4. And do that for all of them, 1 3/4 and 5 1/4. These are a portion of your Neverending card, so that goes in pocket C. Next we have a craft plane and a white plane. These will both be scored horizontally at 4 1/2. And again, if you put enough pressure down, you can score 2 at a time. Otherwise, just do it 1 at a time. It's up to you. This goes in pocket B with the other pair. Now I have a blue 4 by 8. We're going to score this horizontally at 5 1/4. That joins its friends in pocket A. Then I have 2 5 by 7 blue planes. We're going to score these vertically. I'm going to do it at the same time at 1 1/4. And 3 3/4. Both of them go in pocket C. Now we're going to repeat all that. This little 4 by 8 in green will be scored at 5 1/4. And the 2 green 5 by 7s score vertically at 1 1/4. And 3 3/4. Also part of the Neverending card in pocket C. Now that all that prep work is out of the way, we can get busy making our dozen cards. Let's get going. Now I literally just took everything out of pocket A, so this is the pile that I have. And what's fun about this approach is you can do this deal and distribute and exchange different color combinations, and or you can just follow what I have in the instructions. You'll be able to see what colors of everything were used in each card. In fact, we can do that. I'll turn to page 3 in the instructions. So this first card shows a green base, a craft base with a green panel and then the black. And then we've got a craft with blue. We have a white with green, and we have a white with blue, and a white with green. I'm having a hard time saying my colors today. It is Saturday morning, so maybe that's why. I don't know. Then for each card, we're going to have we have a craft panel for 2 of them. for 3 of them. Not all, oh, and we have a white panel for one of them. Cool. Then we have these narrow strips. Let's put a blue strip with the green card, and I'm just following the image in my instructions. Here's another blue strip with the green. That way all the colors are represented. I love this. There's just so much variety here. We have an extra couple of white panels to go inside the cards. I'm not sure how those ended up yet, so we'll just kind of figure that out on the fly. Each card gets this decorative element, and it really doesn't matter what goes where. I guess I'll try to follow my instructions. These are switched, so we'll do that. Suitcase over here, and it truly doesn't matter. Each card gets a manila tag, so you just continue to deal things out. I love these combinations of quotes that are used as well. Oh yes, each one gets a strip with the suitcase on it. So let's find those. All the suitcases. Wow, these cards have a lot of neat layers. I love it. Here we go. And now it's just a matter of matching up the innies and the outies. So you are strong and amazing. You're amazing and strong and brave. Goes with and wonderful. Remember that today. You know, I love that. You know, if someone is battling cancer or just having a birthday or did something amazing, that's a great neutral card. Nothing adventured, nothing attained. Congratulations. Here we'll put there is much to celebrate. And today, that's you. And in this pile we'll put you are not getting older, you are increasing in value. All are really fun. Fun. Okay, so with our card stacks, let's just make the first one in the pile. And I'm going to gather up everything else for the remaining 3 cards in the style and set that aside. A very simple task to begin is just to take some of this Petersham ribbon, and I'm going to tie it onto the manila tag. I mean, how easy is that? Just tie it on there, a little knot, sweet as can be. And then I have a scissors that I use exclusively for ribbon because I find that my paper scissors just don't cut it. All right, now we can, if you're an inker of edges, go ahead and ink the edge if you'd like, just to add a little distressing, or just go ahead and nest this, and look how perfectly it fits right on that tag. Yay! Okay, so the structure basically is this is the base of the card. It's not folded, so this is a very economical way to use paper. And then the other piece that's scored, remember the bump of the score goes on the inside of the fold. We will fold that, but don't adhere it quite yet. And then we have another black strip that has a score, so fold on that. You'll notice it does not fold in half. That's intentional. So we'll add this black strip to the card base, and if you want to make sure it's centered from top to bottom, the measurement that you're looking for on your ruler is going to be 1 1/8 from the bottom and top edges, so that way you know this is centered top to bottom. Again, that's 1 1/8 of an inch up, and my grid ruler helps me find that quite readily. I'll just put some adhesive on this, double check my ruler, and now this is attached center with the narrow flap on the left. Next, this blue panel is designed to center onto the flap perfectly. And then another smaller piece nests on there as well. This is with the suitcase on it. Now on the inside, we're going to add the card base that folds. And I want the narrow flap to open to the right. So add some adhesive to this. I hope right now you're going, oh, that's so cool how this all comes together. And then you have a craft colored panel. On my sample, it's white. I'll do the white panel just so I'm consistent. Then we have this guy, just a decorative element. Really starting to come together. Okay, so now you are amazing and strong and brave. That's going to fit right into this area with the reinforcement hole to the right. So just make sure you don't put any adhesive in the area that doesn't need to be stuck down, if you know what I'm saying. Now when you open the card, both flaps, you will reveal the sentiment and wonderful. Remember that today. So that's just a continuation of what's on the front. Now, in your kit, you also have these really fun stickers. So I'm going to take one of those out of here. And I guess the challenge with the stickers is getting the backing off. I wish they had like a little pull tab on them. Wouldn't that be cool? Not so bad. And then we can add the sticker to the upper corner of the sentiment, and our card is complete. So here's my original pile of samples. So here's the one that we made together. Very lovely. And guess what? The remaining 4 are assembled the exact same way. I guess I didn't really use the extra white panel. If you end up with something left over, no problem. But these do fit. They fit on the inside spacing as well. So maybe if on the green card, which is a little bit of a darker stock, you can add that extra panel there for a spot to write, handwrite a sentiment. Okay, that is set A, my friends. I hope you really like the way that came together. I love that. So I'm going to take the remaining pieces that I have here and set them in, or place them into the smallest of the 3 envelopes that are included, so that all those pieces can stay together. And when I'm done filming, I can finish up the rest of the cards. All right, for card set B, I've emptied out my entire pocket of elements, and as usual, we'll begin by arranging our card bases. So I'll put a blue, a white, a green, and a craft out in front of me. Okay, then each one of these cards will get a panel with a map print on it, which is kind of cool. It's nice to have that extra print in our new kit format. And then each one gets a contrasting strip. So if it's a blue card base, we're going to go with the green strip. On this white one, we'll keep green. And then on these 2, we'll do blue. And then each one gets a sentiment. So we'll start out with our vertical sentiments, so much world, and well done. And our horizontal sentiments, wonder, wander, repeat, we came, we saw, we loved. And then our innies, so little time, and for being, I like this, well done, for being born many years ago, happy birthday. And then we have, we came, we saw, or wonder, wander, have a great day, and we came, we loved, saw, we loved, that's a thank you. Then you also have these emote, or these little icons, I call them. I have gone ahead and just took my little detail scissors and trimmed the globe. That's going to be used on this first card. The hand will be used on the well done. The plane is used on Wonder Wander, and this little symbol for a map locator is on the final card. So you can fussy cut those or not, or leave them off completely if you're not in the mood. I completely understand if you're not, or if you're time sensitive and you just need to get out the door with a completed card. I totally get it. All right, so on your instructions, there is a little sketch to show. This is relatively simple, and if you don't do the measurements exact, it's not a huge deal in this case, but I had seen this idea for a bow tie card, and I thought it was kind of fun. So I'm going to put my 0 basically in the corner here. So here's my 0 center of the ruler. I'm at the top edge of the card, and I'm going to bring my ruler down 1 3/4 of an inch. Okay, make sure I'm level there. So this from here to here is 2, and then that little line is 1 3/4. 1 3/4. Okay, and then I want to measure from the left edge 1 1/2 inches. So I'm going to put a little, if you want, you can even just lightly draw a pencil line from 0 to 1 1/2. So I'm 1 3/4 from the top, 1 1/2 from the right. Then you can use a craft knife, you can use scissors, whatever you want to do. I'll use scissors, and then I'm going to come through with a nice clean eraser. Just get rid of that pencil mark so it's gone. Wow, exciting. A line. Now, if you want, you can bring your ruler from the intersection of the line and the corner, and just fold up on that. Just kind of get it started, and then fold back. And then do the same from the other corner to the edge of your cut here. I'm just using the ruler to help kind of get that fold started. If you want, you can even slide a bone folder underneath there to start the crease. Bring that paper up, and ta-da! It's a bow tie fold. And you can do them in the center, you can do them off-centered, you can do them wider at the top or wider at the bottom. It really doesn't matter, okay? But that's essentially the bow tie fold. Nice and easy, right? Okay, so now we have these other elements. How does this all come together? It's pretty easy. If you want, again, you can use your 0 center, but basically I'm looking to attach this piece to my card on the right edge, 1/4 of an inch from the edge, the top and the bottom, okay? If you're not a big measurer, just kind of center it top to bottom and then match the distance on the right. So I'm 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so now weird, there's just this strip on the card. On top of that, we're going to add So Much World. We're going to have even spacing, top, bottom, and right. I hope I didn't lose you there. This is just a really kind of a clever way to efficiently use paper, because we could have had a larger piece here, but we don't need it because it's going to be covered by our bow tie. Check it out. So at this point, I'm going to add my bow tie. In fact, I think I'll go ahead and fold this card base in half so I can see the edge of my card. And I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to center it 1/4 of an inch from the left, right, and top. So here we go. And that'll match what's happening on the right side of the card. Huh. How great is that? Just sweet as can be. Then with my fabric scissors, I'm going to cut some of this really, really gorgeous twill. And I actually happen to have a ton of extra black ribbon. If you want to use that as well, you can do that. Whatever you want. But I am going to adhere this kind of to the inside. Oops. Cute. Okay, then you can actually tack down your bow tie once you figure out, you know, what you want peeking out from where. Nice. And then from the hemisphere stickers that you have, let's get one of those, the backing removed. I'm going to place this just kind of on that intersection of the bow tie, and then come through with the world. And how appropriate is that? Because our quote says so much world. We can actually add a world to a couple of worlds to the situation. If you want, you can add that with a pop dot, give it a little bit of dimension. And then we'll add our inner sentiment, so little time. And since there's such a plentiful batch, we can go ahead and add one more sticker to the inside as well if you want. It's totally up to you. But, you know, you got them. Use them. And then save some for your envelopes as well. I think that'll be really fun. Okay, so there is card set B. All of the cards are assembled the same exact way in that set. So you've got your So Much World. Wow, that's like pretty identical, except for I have a little bit more green showing it. Well, it's the same. Okay, so there's my original sample. Then the horizontal ones, it's the same measurement. The only thing different is that when you know, it'll be horizontal instead of vertical. But everything else is exactly the same. And I love those little icons. If you take the time to do the fussy cutting and add them to the cards, I think they really add a nice special touch. All right, those are the remaining cards in set B. So I'll set these aside in the medium-sized envelope. And our final challenge will be to make the awesome Neverending card. Let's take a peek at why we call this the Neverending card. If you haven't met the Neverending card yet, you're going to love it. Here's an example. So we have our map print on the front. It's been scored. And then you just open it from the center. And then you open this one from the center. And you just keep going around and around. So the bad news is time flies. The good news is you're the pilot. Have a great day. So this can, again, be a nice neutral, masculine, birthday, all occasion card, which I love. And, you know, that just can go around and around, and the person who receives it will have a lot of fun with that. Okay, so it looks way more complicated than it is. And of course, if you've emptied Pocket C, you might be a little overwhelmed right now by the number of little rectangles that you get to nest together, but so be it. You can actually skip all the rectangles if you want and just put the art pieces on. It's entirely up to you. Now I'm going to walk you through the first card, and what you find on the instructions is every single panel of the card has been shown. So here's panel 1, everything that goes in 2, 3, and 4, and you'll be able to see what colors I used on which art panels so that you can make it all come together. Plus I've written what every single piece is on the inside as well, and I have a little picture for you to consult for assembly and step-by-step instructions there too. So without further ado, let's just start out with one of the map prints and one of the green planes. We'll put these side by side, and basically what's going to happen is we'll cut this one vertically. So we're cutting through the score lines, and we'll cut this one horizontally. Now you could do this all at once, you know, with all the panels that you have, but I like to keep everything kind of precise. So this is 5 inches wide right now. I'm cutting it vertically through the score lines at 2.5. This is my left and my right. And then I'm going to take this one and cut it horizontally at 3.5. This will be my top and my bottom. And I'll set the trimmer aside. Next, I'm going to apply adhesive to my green panels, and let me show you in the picture what I'm talking about. Right here I show 4 little areas where adhesive has been applied, and I'm making sure I'm not going past the score line or what will be the other horizontal score line. So basically about 1 inch worth in each corner. You can use your favorite adhesive for this as long as it's nice and strong. I'm using an ATG style adhesive, or you can use bookbinding glue as well, or score tape. Now what I need to do is place these 2 pieces directly on top of the 2 that I've prepared. But I only want to put them on one at a time. So I'm just going to puzzle this together and place this into the upper left corner. I'm going to line up all the edges. Okay, then bring this one in. I'll align the edges on this side. And then I'm going to put these on the bottom. Now you might find it easier just to flip the whole works over so you can see what you're doing. Just align it as best as you can. You really don't want it to be overlapping. Okay, so now your never-ending card is kind of set to go. So what's going to happen is this is going to open, and you'll notice you'll have to crease your score lines. Ta-da! Now remember, we open from the center, so I'm going to wrap this around this way, and you'll have to crease those score lines. And it'll open from the center. And here we are back at the beginning. Isn't that cool? Okay, so that's basically the never-ending card assembly. I hope you thought that was as easy as it really is. And now if you look at all these rectangles, we're going to sort them into 2 piles, the printed ones. There will be horizontal artwork and vertical artwork. So just divide those into horizontal and vertical. And that way it'll be easier for you to sort everything out. And it'll be very clear whether they're horizontal or vertical artwork. Okay, and then we have all the different colors. We have black. I'm going to put these on separate piles too. Green, blue, and print to add interest to and contrast to our pieces. Now these are all for the horizontal cards. I'll set those aside. And here we have the vertical. So I'm going to find out what goes on this card. We need, so the bad news is, a map, time flies. The good news is a map, you're the pilot, have a great day. And then you can tell by this that the bad news is will be nested onto a green panel. And I used some of my beautiful black ribbon here. This is just like a, I just love it's more of a taffeta style ribbon. I just had so much ribbon, I didn't really get a chance to use much of this, so I'm sure you can find a home for it on other kinds of projects if you don't use it all. And then here's another fun tip. I didn't do this on my original, but I'm going to do it on this one. Some of these hemisphere stickers have, like, they have a line going through them. Like here we can see a line. So I take my scissors and just cut right through that line and remove the backing, and you can place that on the bottom edge of this cut apart. Sweet. And then this has to be placed on the card so that it's within this scored area. So do not go past the score lines or you'll lose the functionality of the card. Okay, so then we open from the center, and we can see that time flies, and our map will be nested onto 2 blue panels. And then these pieces, you can add a map to this as well at any time, which I did. The map stickers add so much. We'll add time flies here and our map below. Then open from the center. And you've got another area here. So the colors are the good news, and your map will be nested onto black panels. And you can do all this nesting at once if you want, or just work on it card by card, which is what I'm doing here. It's working great. And then we'll nest these. So the good news is here, and a map here, so that the final sentiment, we're going to nest these onto black panels again, and there should be enough panels for every single sentiment, which I think is so cool. You're the pilot. Have a great day. And again, by cutting these hemisphere stickers in half, if they have that center straight line, it's just an easy guide to follow, and then add the pieces to the cut apart. It really gives it a nice look. The bad news is time flies. The good news is you're the pilot. Have a great day. I mean, it's just, you just want to keep doing it because it's so much fun. That is the Neverending card. And all of them are assembled the same exact way. So what I would recommend is you do the cutting in half and the gluing to create the structure first, and you kind of work in a vertical orientation. But 2 of the cards are vertical, and then 2 will use all the horizontal sentiments. So let's take a look at the finished cards. Here's the first one we made together. Here's the other vertical. Now with this one, I used the really cool silver charm and threaded it with the jute fiber that's in your kit. So just, you know, kind of like a luggage tag thread, you just bring in a looped end and then swing it through the loop to attach, and then wrap those pieces behind and tape them on the back of the sentiment and nest it onto the green panel. If you don't do it in that order, it's not a big deal. This, you can see the half cut sticker adds so much, like I said. And then so here's our second. I just added a lot of the stickers. Again, you've got them. Here's another charm at the back. So this one is really charmed out. It's really charming. Okay, so there's a second sample. And then for the horizontal, I did create a sympathy card because sometimes we want to say a lot in sympathy. And I think that this one is beautiful. May the constant love of caring friends soften your sadness. May cherished memories bring you moments of comfort. May lasting peace surround your grieving heart with sincere sympathy. Such a beautiful card. And it's, you know, symbolic of the never-ending memories that we have of loved ones that we've lost. I love this card. And then too, I like this one. Good reminder for me to travel light. And I implemented the charm here horizontally. I just love the effect of that. And then winding your way through, live light, spread the light, be the light. Happy birthday. What a great reminder. Travel light. Tricia, pack light, okay? There's my other fun never-ending card. So you'll make 4 of those. Now, what's fun about this whole setup is that once you've mastered these 4 card techniques, they're all relatively simple, and they all that magic happened from just a few sheets of paper. And then if you do this again on your own, just, you know, use your stamps, use what you have in your stash to create all of the art panels. So we used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sheets of paper in this case to make all of these cards. So I know you have a stash of paper at home. We're here to help you use it. I really hope you had fun making these cards with me today, and that you'll take my challenge to recycle these instructions to make even more beautiful greetings. Have fun card making, and I'll see you back here for the Expeditions page kit. We're going to have a lot of fun making those pages as well.